Because if we go to the date that we are in right now, it's now the 1st of June 2021. If we set it to December, well, nothing really changes. And that is because none of the materials is now responding to the snow system that EasySky has. And I made something to make it quite easy to add snow everywhere. And it is in the set snow to materials. This basically collects all the materials that are being used in the level, and then it will add the snow function, just like we just did with the puddle function, but it will do it automatically for all of the materials that it collects. There's two parameters that you can fill in. One is to include plug-in materials, and one is to include engine materials. In general speaking, you don't want to include engine materials because those are the default material of Unreal, for example, and you don't want to add the snow function to that. You just want to change that object later because it's probably a temporary object that you're using. So first we're going to hit the collect game materials, and this will fill this materials to change array with all of the materials that it finds in this scene. And don't immediately click on the set snow to materials after that. No, let's first have a look at what we have right here, because we probably want to remove some of the stuff in here, because some stuff in here might not be very suited for adding snow. One of the things is, for example, the grass material. I don't think we want to add snow to this because that might look a little bit odd. You can try, but I don't want it for this. So let's delete it. We have a bark, that's fine. Dynamic cover is fine. Rock is fine. We have a bush. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, we could try it. It might work. We have some leaves. That's also fine. What's this? Cross. Yeah, this is probably not going to work very well. You can always add it later. We have a lot level, it seems, for the leaves. Well, let's also leave that in for now. Clean water translucent. Sounds like a very bad idea to put it on a translucent material. So let's remove the water for now. Terrain shader. Yeah, we want to add it to the terrain. The road, I'm not quite sure that will work either, because the road is a spline mesh that we just saw behaves a little bit weird with lighting anyway. So we might want to remove this as well. Let's see what it actually is. Yeah, it's a translucent object. You probably always want to make these kinds of roads masked. So let's put it to masked anyway, because I don't think the translucent one works quite well. Translucency always has problems with lighting. Yeah, this works okay enough. I don't see a reason why not to do that. So now that we've filtered the list, we can do set snow to materials, and it will take a little bit of time, and then you will see that it is compiling all of the materials again. If we go into one of the materials, then you will see that it added this snow function in between the make material attributes and the end node of this material. And it also created this make material attributes node for you if it wasn't there yet. So we'll give this a little bit more time again, and when this finishes I'll come back to you. Okay, so it finished compiling, which means that everything now has the snow function in there. And now we can see if it actually works. So let's go back to the weather scenarios, set it to medium rain, and then set the date to December. We can see that it starts snowing, but we can also see that there is now snow everywhere. So there is snow on top of the small fence that we have over here, but we also see snow on the ground. Now where we don't see snow yet is on the foliage, and that's most likely because I removed that one from getting snow. What you could do is open the material for the foliage and then try to add the snow function. However, it could be that because this is a transparent material that it doesn't look that good, and you might need to make some tweaks to the function or add a custom snow solution yourself. In case you wish to do so, what you could do is, let's have a look at the snow function. So there is one attribute here, snow amount, which is derived from a material parameter collection, and this is the amount of snow that should be on top of the object. So if this is 1, it will be completely covered in snow. If it's 0, then it is there is no snow at all. So you could use this parameter value in your own material to cover it with snow if you please to. Okay. Another thing I would like to show when dealing with snow is that there is also the option to have the snow actually increase in height depending on how long the snow is falling. In order to do so, you can go to the material with the snow function applied in it. In this case I'm going to go to the terrain shader. It's easiest to control this if you make a material instance. So if you haven't done so, make a material instance out of your material, because then you can easily change a parameter, and that parameter is called use WPO, or use world position object, and we set that to true. After you've done that, it will recompile again, but when it's done compiling, you will notice that the floor will actually increase in height as soon as there's more snow falling on top of it. So let's wait for the compiler to be done again, and then we'll see the end result. Okay, we're back. It's done compiling. As you can see, the snow has lifted a little bit. It's quite hard to see, but you can see that now the grass is actually a little bit under the floor. It's a little bit hard to see just like this, but what we could do is we could speed up the cycle to a 10-second cycle for day and night, and then in editor preview we can do a real-time dynamic weather in the editor, which means that it will in real time switch between snow, no snow, etc. And what that would do is you would actually see that once it starts snowing, snow will start to grow on the ground. So let's wait for it to start snowing again. If it ever is going to snow again, of course. And once it starts snowing, you will see that it starts forming snow, and it will slowly ramp up. There we go. So it starts snowing, and it's a little bit hard to see now. Yeah, we're in between rain and snow at the moment, so it will start shifting between snow and rain. And the reason for that is that, and let's just play it, then we can actually see what's happening. So we have the amount of degrees here. When it becomes below 0, it will start snowing, like we see right now. If it gets above 0 degrees, then it will start raining. And that means that it's having a little bit of a hard time showing snow right now, because we get temperatures above freezing point. And we can change that. We can change that quite easily actually, because if we go to our content folder of EasySky, and then we need to go to blueprints, and then we see curves. And there are 2 very important curves here. Well, actually there are 4. There's a maximum temperature day curve, a maximum temperature night curve, a minimum temperature day curve, and a minimum temperature night curve. And what those are, this is a curve that tells the maximum temperature during daytime that the system could have per month. So on the x-axis you would see the month, so 0 would mean 0 till 1 would mean January, February, March, blah blah blah, and we end in December. So you can see that in the summer months the maximum amount of temperature that it can have is like 29.4 degrees Celsius. The lowest temperature during the day, the maximum temperature during the day in January is 4 degrees. However, what we do want right now is that it's always below freezing point. So what we could do is we can take these two and say, okay, this is going to be -8. So we always want it to be -8 in the winter. And if we then also take the minimum temperature during the day, well, that's already set to -12, but let's go a little bit more extreme. Let's go to -15. And then do the same thing during the night. So we have a maximum temperature during the night, which is set to 3 degrees. Let's make it -6. And then the minimum temperature during the night, well, it's already -15. That would be okay. This means that if we set it to the 1st of January, it should in theory always snow when it starts to rain, because the temperature is so low that we will always be below freezing point, and we see that over here. So we now constantly keep below freezing point, so we make sure that there is always snow. And let's wait for the snow to cancel, because sometimes of course it's not snowing. Now the snow will slowly increase. We're a little bit in bad luck that it starts snowing again. And there we go. Yeah, you can see that it is slowly dropping and going up again. And it's dropping again. And now it's slowly increasing again. So yeah, that's the whole principle behind snow. And this is also how you can control the temperature, how you can make sure that it's always below a certain amount of degrees. You can change these however you want yourself. You can also make sure that whatever the month will be, it will always be below freezing point. It of course depends on where your game takes place.